What if I told you that one of the most advanced stealth fighter jets ever built, a $100 million American F-35 Lightning, was allegedly shot down by Iran? Not Russia, not China, Iran. A country that flies 40-year-old jets and builds its own knockoff drones in underground bunkers. The internet exploded. Governments went silent, and the Pentagon? They gave an answer that raised more questions than it solved. So today, we're going to dig into every detail, every claim, every piece of evidence, and find out once and for all, did Iran really shoot down a US F-35? Let's start from the beginning, because this story didn't come from CNN. It didn't come from Fox News. It didn't come from any official military press conference. This story came from Iranian state media, and it spread like wildfire across every corner of the internet within hours. Iranian sources claimed that their air defense systems had successfully detected and engaged a United States F-35 stealth fighter jet operating near or within Iranian airspace. According to these reports, the aircraft was tracked, targeted, and ultimately shot down using Iranian-made defense systems. Now let me put this into perspective for you. The F-35 Lightning II is supposed to be invisible. This is the crown jewel of American military aviation. Lockheed Martin spent over $1 trillion developing this program. A single F-35 costs anywhere between $80 to $100 million, depending on the variant. Its stealth technology is designed to make it virtually undetectable to enemy radar systems. It carries the most advanced sensor suite ever installed on a fighter aircraft. It can see the enemy long before the enemy even knows it exists. And Iran, a country under heavy international sanctions with limited access to modern military technology, claims they just knocked one out of the sky. If this is true, it would be the single most embarrassing moment in American military aviation history. It would mean that a $1 trillion stealth program just got defeated by a sanctioned nation using homegrown technology. But here's the thing. Is it actually true? Before we can answer that question, we need to understand what Iran actually has in terms of air defense. Because if you're going to claim you shot down the most advanced jet on Earth, you better have the tools to back it up. Iran operates a layered air defense network that is actually more sophisticated than most people realize. At the top of that network sits the S-300 PMU-2, a Russian-made long-range surface-to-air missile system. Iran acquired this back in 2016. This system is capable of tracking and engaging multiple airborne targets at ranges exceeding 150 kilometers. It's a serious piece of hardware. But Iran didn't stop there. They also developed their own indigenous air defense system called the Bayvar 373. Iran claims the Bayvar 373 is equivalent to, or even superior to, Russia's S-300. It's a mobile long-range missile system designed specifically to counter stealth aircraft and cruise missiles. Iran has paraded this system at military events and demonstrated it in large-scale exercises. On top of that, Iran operates the Khordad-3 and Khordad-15 medium-range air defense systems. And here's something important. Iran actually used the Khordad-3 system to shoot down a US RQ-4A Global Hawk drone in June 2019. That drone was a $220 million unmanned surveillance aircraft. So let's be clear. Iran's air defense capability is not a joke. They have real systems. They have proven systems. They have systems that have already killed American aircraft, at least unmanned ones. But shooting down a drone and shooting down an F-35 are two very different things. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Can Iranian radar systems actually see an F-35? The F-35 stealth capability is built around something called a low observable airframe. Every single surface, edge, angle, and coating is designed to deflect, absorb, or scatter incoming radar waves. On a radar screen, the F-35's cross-section is believed to be roughly the size of a golf ball. Some estimates say even smaller, like a metal marble. That means a radar operator would have an almost impossible time distinguishing an F-35 from background noise, birds, or weather clutter. The jet is essentially a ghost. But, and this is a big but, stealth is not the same as invisibility. No aircraft is truly invisible. Stealth technology reduces detection range, but it does not eliminate detection entirely. Low-frequency radars, like L-band and VHF band systems, have been theorized to detect stealth aircraft at certain ranges. These use longer wavelengths that interact differently with stealth airframes. Iran is known to operate VHF band radar systems, And some analysts believe that Iran's Ghadir radar may have some capability to detect stealth targets at long range. Not with enough precision to guide a missile, but possibly enough to alert operators that something is out there. So here's the honest answer. Could Iranian radar detect an F-35 under perfect conditions? Maybe. Possibly. At reduced range with limited tracking accuracy, could they reliably lock on and guide a missile to intercept an F-35 performing combat maneuvers with full electronic warfare countermeasures active? That is a much harder question. And most Western analysts say, probably not. So what did the United States military actually say about this whole incident? And this is where things get interesting, because the Pentagon's response was, let's call it, carefully worded. When asked directly about Iranian claims of shooting down an F-35, U.S. military officials denied it. They stated clearly that no American F-35 had been lost in combat. No aircraft was shot down. But here's what made people suspicious. Around the same time, there was a reported F-35 incident. The U.S. military acknowledged that an F-35 had experienced what they called a mishap, and people on the internet immediately connected the dots, whether those dots were actually connected or not. Social media exploded with theories. Some claimed the Pentagon was covering up an actual shootdown. Military bloggers and aviation enthusiasts started digging through flight tracking data and satellite imagery, trying to find any evidence that an F-35 had gone down. The result? No confirmed evidence, no wreckage photos, no debris displayed on Iranian state television, which, by the way, is exactly what Iran did when they shot down that Global Hawk drone in 2019. They recovered the wreckage and showed it to the entire world. If Iran had actually shot down a $100 million stealth fighter, you know they would have dragged every piece of that wreckage onto national television. The fact that they didn't display physical evidence tells you a lot. And this brings us to something really important that most people overlook: the propaganda war. In the Middle East, military claims are not always about what actually happened. They're about perception. They're about sending a message to your own people, to your enemies, and to the rest of the world. Iran has a long history of making bold military claims. They've claimed to build stealth fighters that turned out to be non-functional display models. They've claimed to develop aircraft carriers that were actually modified cargo barges. They've released footage of missile tests that later turned out to be edited or recycled from previous years. Does that mean everything Iran claims is false? Absolutely not. The Global Hawk shootdown was real. Their missile strikes on Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq in January 2020 were real. Iran does have legitimate military capabilities that should not be underestimated, but there's a pattern of exaggeration, and the F-35 shootdown claim fits perfectly into that pattern. On the other side of the coin, America also has reasons to deny any such incident even if it happened. Admitting that an F-35 was shot down by Iran would be catastrophic for the program. It would shake confidence among the dozens of allied nations that have purchased or ordered the aircraft. It would call into question the entire stealth technology doctrine that America's air combat strategy is built upon. So you've got two sides with strong motivations to control the narrative. Iran has every reason to claim a shootdown. America has every reason to deny one. And the truth? The truth is somewhere in between, buried under layers of classified information that neither side will ever release. So what do independent military analysts and aviation experts actually believe? The overwhelming consensus among Western defense analysts is that Iran did not shoot down a U.S. F-35. First, no physical evidence, no wreckage, no debris, no recovered components displayed publicly. When you shoot down an aircraft, there is always physical evidence. Always. Second, no confirmed loss in U.S. military records. The Department of Defense tracks every single aircraft in its inventory. Every loss, every incident, every mishap is recorded. No F-35 combat loss has ever been confirmed. Third, the operational reality. F-35s would be supported by a massive electronic warfare umbrella, including EA-18G Growler jamming aircraft, AWACS early warning, and satellite surveillance. The idea that Iran could detect, track, and engage an F-35 through all of those layers of protection without anyone noticing is extremely unlikely. Fourth, pilot recovery. If an F-35 had been shot down, there would be a pilot, either captured or rescued. No captured American pilot has ever been presented. No combat search and rescue operation was reported. Nothing. However, and I want to be fair here, some analysts do acknowledge that Iran's air defense capabilities are improving. The combination of Russian-supplied systems and indigenous development means that operating near Iranian airspace is becoming increasingly risky, even for stealth aircraft. The margin of safety is shrinking, and that is something the Pentagon takes very seriously. So did Iran really shoot down a US F-35? Based on every available piece of evidence, every expert analysis, every military record, and every logical assessment, the answer is no, it did not happen. The claim appears to be a combination of Iranian propaganda, social media speculation, and the fog of information warfare that surrounds every military interaction in the Middle East. But, and this is the important takeaway, the fact that people even believed it could happen says something powerful. It says that Iran's military capabilities are growing. It says that stealth technology is not the invincible shield it was once believed to be. The F-35 is still the most advanced fighter jet on the planet, but the days of flying anywhere with total impunity, those days might be numbered. If this video opened your eyes, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell, because next week we're covering something even more controversial, and trust me, you're going to want to see it.